tremendous looking trophy.
Welcome to Platinum Explosion, number one PlayStation podcast in the Oceanias. My name's Don Black. Joining me as always, Ashley Hobley.
Hey John, excited to be here on day 2035 of the quarantine.
Did you actually go look up the number you said last time, or are you just making it up?
No, I'm pretty sure I'd hit the thousands last time. So
okay, so it's going fast. It's like dog years for quarantine time. You know, it seems to move at a faster pace, but that's fine. It does feel like forever. In the trophy cabinet this week, a bronze trophy for PS Plus games coming early, a gold trophy for a bunch of new Ghost of Tsushima details, and we hit a platinum because it's an Iron Man VR demo. One of us has played it. Bet you can't guess which one. So let's just jump straight into news. Yeah, for some reason, Call of Duty's out now. I don't really know why, but it's worth mentioning. So on the Twitter of the PlayStations, they wrote, PS Plus members, Call of Duty World War II is part of the monthly games lineup for June and will be available for download starting the 26th of May. That is, that's past by the time you're listening to this. We'll share additional details of our monthly lineup later this week. Enjoy. Why do you reckon they would release a PlayStation Plus game early? And is it just to calm everyone down that's been angry in every PlayStation Twitter post about fucking Farming Simulator?
Yeah, I think it's probably that. I mean, it could be like a Memorial Day tie-in, but unlikely.
That would be kind of bad taste, I think.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think it's definitely like to try and ease the pain of make the masses less angry who were upset about last month's offerings.
Yeah, and
I bet they didn't even give Farming Simulator a try. I mean, they could have loved that.
Yeah, definitely.
Seemed like a very similar market, the people who love World War II.
Yeah. People love World War II and farming. They're similar.
Farming Simulator is the World War II post game.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Because most of them went back to farming, that kind of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I can buy it. So yeah, I haven't played World War II, so this one I might do the campaign, I guess, or something like that. Although it would be the whole Memorial Day time would be very off taste, because I remember when it released, people were angry that it was like supposed to be, they're trying to treat World War II super serious, and I remember people talking about how you'd go play the multiplayer and you could call in like loot drops from the sky or what, like shit like this.
That's super realistic.
Yeah, it's super realistic. So be aware of that. You've got a game early, everyone. Get excited. Last of Us 2 is getting a bunch of weird. Well, no, it's a console. It's a console, a controller, a headset, and a hard drive limited edition items that you can get from EB Games, JB, wherever, unless they've all sold out. But I would presume the console has a limited number. I would presume the last thing to go will be the hard drive. But all of these items have the Ellie's tattoo somewhere on them. The flower. No, what's it called? What's the?
It's like a leaf.
Leaf thing. Yeah. All of them have that on it, and then they've got like the Last of Us written somewhere upon them. The console does look cool, but I'm going to be surprised to know how many people actually buy it, considering, the PlayStation 5's out presumably, what, July, August, September, October, 4 to 5 months
or more
after release. You got to have a lot of money, I feel, to be chucking around for that.
I think it's definitely going to be like a collector's item thing, so more so than a practical used PS4.
So I would get it if it was released, I guess
3 years ago.
I would say like a year and a half to 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, because even a year ago, I would have probably been, but PS5 is supposed to come next year. Like, what if they do a random and decide to release it early in the year, like they did with the Switch or something? Like I would have had doubts about the reason to buy it.
Wait, is it a pro or is it?
That's a good question, actually, and I didn't actually even think to look up to that. I would presume it would have to be a pro, right? Or else it would be really weird. Although that is a good question. I'm going to presume it's a Pro.
Because the last couple have been not.
It is a Pro. It says on the trailer thing here, it says limited edition PS4 Pro bundle. So I guess for some people, maybe if they're not planning on buying a PS5 at launch, they could buy this as an upgrade from a normal PS4 to a Pro, you know?
Maybe. How much how much more expensive do you think the PS5 is going to be? If you're paying $559 for this.
I reckon the PS5 is going to be a bit more expensive than this, so
yeah,
I reckon the PS, $700 or something.
So, I mean, that's not much more of a difference.
Yeah, I know, but some people might not. Some people might be like, oh, some people just like to wait until there's more games. I guess. Not care too much. What I have put money down though on is I did pop some dollars down on the controller at EB Games when I saw you could get that solo, because as I've talked about on here before, a bunch of my DualShocks just randomly started dying in succession around here, and I went from having 4 functioning ones to now only having 2, and then 2 broken ones. So I'm like, I could justify buying the controller because like it looks cool, but then also I will have 2, 3 functioning ones again, so that will be good. And it does look cool. It's got a little tattoo on the thing there. The weirdest thing though is the hard drive. I find that so weird. It's not a like it's not a hard drive you put in your PlayStation to upgrade the space, because it would be really weird to be like, hey, buy this console, but then also spend this money to upgrade the hard drive inside it. It's a Seagate special designed external hard drive. Plug it in, extend your space, blah 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 blah. It's quite weird, I think, but
I mean, it's an interesting idea. Like at least it's like confirmed that it will work with the PS4. It's Sony approved or whatever. I mean, at least you'll know which hard drive your stuff's on. It's on the Last of Us hard drive.
I guess so.
I mean, it's not a terrible idea.
No, but it's also more expensive than probably just buying a normal.
I don't know. 2 terabyte external hard drive would be.
I don't know how much JB or EB sell these things for. The last
maybe like $100. Okay, it's a little bit more expensive, but those might not be. No, they look like the USB ones. Not.
This is a USB
externally. One. Yeah, but the ones I'm looking at might look like the USB ones, not externally powered ones.
Oh, is this? Yeah, it doesn't really matter. The one I've had plugged into my PlayStation for ages that I've been using for external hard drive space is literally an old computer hard drive.
Yeah.
That when I upgraded, I just use that. Because I just bought a casing.
Put the casing in, yeah.
Yeah, I just bought a casing for it and off the internet and plugged it into that, and then USB off you go. So and all up that cost me like, I don't know, less than $100 between the hard drive at the time and then buying the case for it, so
yeah,
these things are always more expensive. Anyway, that's cool.
I don't know. I think it would be better if they designed it in such a way that you could sort of display it better. Like a stand or something.
A stand?
Like a little stand so you can lean it up against the console or something.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of like,
I guess
it's laying flat on whatever surface you've got.
Yeah, but I think for hard drives you want them to kind of lay flat to run better. Yeah, I think so.
Is it going to matter when it's solid state?
Yeah, maybe that's the big difference. Solid state drives can run at any and all sorts of angles. That's the big change.
Why isn't that a selling point?
I don't know. Maybe they will make that selling point quite soon.
I can finally get that slanted stand to put my console on.
Just go buy a art easel thing.
Yeah.
Because like that's what I got for my vinyl because I wanted something to display them next to the record player, and I was like, well, I can't find like a cool something to display it on. And then I just found like one of those little art easel things that people use to display like their pictures in, like canvas paintings or whatever. And that's what I've got. So, you know, everyone use your thinking caps, head down to your local Spotlight, whatever, you know, figure your shit out. It's fine. All right, let's talk about Ghost of Tsushima a little bit. Press Start had this interview with Nate Fox over at Sucker Punch, and you can read the whole thing, of course. I've kind of just cherry-picked the questions and answers that stood out the most to me and offered a little bit of more information or follow-up to stuff that we talked about previously when we talked about the game. The first one, the big one, the most important one, Shannon said, what about Jin's horse? Obviously, that plays a big part in the game, but can it be killed in combat? Nate Fox, the horse cannot be killed. It's your best buddy in the game. It's your horse forever. Isn't that sweet? It's so nice to know that.
Yep, immortal.
Yeah,
immortal horse.
Me and my horse are going to be bestest friends. Shannon says, does taking on the game as a ghost or samurai change anything in a narrative sense or the world around you, or is it just a playstyle choice? Nate Fox said, it's absolutely a playstyle choice. I personally like to shoot villains at a distance with archery, and I invest a lot of my technical points into growing my archery abilities because that's how I like to fight. But as far as how the story reacts to choices you'd make, I'd rather not tell you because I don't want to ruin the surprise. So
yes.
So yes, yeah, that's a long-winded way of saying yes, but I like that because that is something talked about when I was talking about the state of play thing, and I was wondering if there would actually be story related stuff to how much you play like a ghost or a samurai, and was talking about how, you know, Jin's uncle or whatever it is that trains him, if he'll probably hate him if he goes super ghost, and that answer there kind of tells me that yes, I guess your uncle will probably hate you if you go super ghost. That kind of sums it up. Then says, I'm assuming that new weapons are something you only get when progressing through the stories and not randomly picked up after encounters. Nate Fox said, yeah, it's not a game about loot drops. It's a game about story and exploration. So if you go on Jin's journey from samurai to ghost, you'll get access to some abilities and some weapons. But if you really want the full diversity of possibilities, you have to explore. You have to meet side characters. You have to go to places that you're not really even told exist. That's why the world is rewarding, blah, blah, blah. So answers the question of, will this be more Assassin's Creed-y, like Odyssey, which will just come off, which has a shit ton of loot drops, you know, like that's got a really ingrained RPG system where enemies will just randomly drop, you know, common, uncommon, rare, ultra rare type weapons, that sort of system. Is this going to be that sort of game? No, it seems that they are probably going to be it seems like all the weapons, I guess, are going to be unique. They're all certain weapons and you can find them at certain locations, which would mean that when the game's out, there's going to be websites writing up guides, you know, like here's the best weapon in the game. To get it, you have to do this side quest, go to this side quest, do this location, blah, 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 blah. And then if you upgrade it, it's fucking OP as fuck or something, you know, like sounds like that's what the way this game's going to play out.
Definitely.
This says, I know that techniques were mentioned in the state of play towards the end, but how does leveling up work? Does Jin level up? Can his weapons level up? Nate Fox said, as Jin levels grow, he gets new skill points that he can apply towards new abilities in pretty classic skill tree structure. You can improve your armor and weapons by visiting vendors. So, yes, that is that sounds like the most straightforward RPG-ish factor of it. Just you get skill points, you sign them things, cool. A lot of people want to know about difficulty in games. I guess most of the samurai games that we've experienced in the last few years have been known to be on the more difficult side, where I'm assuming there's a wider range of difficulty options available here. Nate Fox says, you're right. The game is intended to appeal to a very wide group. That means you can set the difficulty level to not be that challenging, or you can ratchet it up and make it very challenging. Our goal of the combat is this phase Mud, Blood, and Steel, where we want to make it visceral. We want to make you feel the danger. Samurai swords, you know, 1 or 2 strikes and somebody dies. We honor that lethality, and it comes alive as a samurai experience. I definitely recommend playing the game on a very challenging setting if you want to go get the full weight of what it's like to wield a katana. But that does should make you feel more comfortable, Ash, knowing that this isn't going to be some sort of Dark Souls experience.
No, it's not going to be a Sekiro setting where you can't change difficulty or alter it in some way if you're not playing very well. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense in this day and age.
I do wonder, though, like how you adjust or if they just kind of ruin the game a bit because there's no way around it. Where if the true experience is this game where, you know, we talked about how it seemed most of the enemies were dying after 1 or 2 hits. And it seems that Jin could possibly only take 1 or 2 hits fully to the face from a sword. Maybe he can take a couple more whacks from a blunt end or a couple more arrows type scenario. But if that's the sort of system they're building around to make sure that everything seems super lethal, and then if you lower the difficulty to like the easy mode, and then all of a sudden he can take like heaps of hits, it's nice to know the options going to be there, but it might ruin the. It sounds like it might ruin the way they design the game for it all to feel proper, you know. But it's still nice. It's going to be there. It's just interesting to see how they pull it all off, because any other game, like if this was a hack and slash, like if this was Devil May Cry or, you know, Bayonetta or something like that, it's like no matter what mode you're playing on, easy, normal, hard, all the enemies always take a lot of hits to kill eventually. So then it doesn't matter where you take the difficulty, they're just going to either take a little bit less or a little bit more. But if you're designing the game from the get-go around like every hit meaning something, I don't know how you lower it easily. We'll find out soon. And then the last one was, coming from Infamous, was it hard going from an extremely supernatural game to something fairly grounded? Was there ever temptation to introduce supernatural elements? Nate Fox said it was hard going from superpowers on Infamous to the grounded world of Ghost of Tsushima. And that's what part of what made it exciting. It was a big change, and because we took so much inspiration from these classic samurai films, they don't feature magic. Yeah, it's just everyday people using their wits and sword in order to survive. So that should answer my question, my theory about wondering if there would actually be hints or anything supernatural-ish, talking about the state of play with the forest and all that sort of stuff. His answer seems to imply that no, they were going solely for a realistic approach based on the samurai movies and nothing more than that. So, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with, but I did wonder, you know.
He could be lying.
He could be lying. That is true. He could very much be lying. So now we got 11 games to run through. 11 indie games. PlayStation Lifestyle wrote up a list. Sony unveils 11 indies, a part of PlayStation Talent 2020, ranging from 3D adventures to VR. For the uninitiated, PlayStation Talent is a program designed to help and promote video game development in Spain. The games are fully developed in the country but sold globally, and they've put out 11 games that I'll be working on. Now, I've watched all the trailers, so I'm just going to point out the ones that sound the most interesting that everyone may or may not want to keep their eye on, and then skip over the ones that I didn't think were super grabbing. But the one that stands out the most is at the very top of the list, and it's a game called Clid the Snail. And we can officially start hashtag Clid the Snail to go along with hashtag Fist Game of the Year. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just waiting for all these damn indie games from different parts of the world at this stage. So this game says players become Clid, a humanoid snail, always with his loyal companion, the talkative Firefly, Blue, by his side. This dual stick shooter takes the player through many different scenarios where they fight enemies with a wide variety of weapons. It is a isometric, top-down, twin-stick shooter. It looks interestingly designed. It looks fun to play. I like the fact that you're literally playing as a snail. That seems fun. The name Clid the Snail is enough to sell me on it. This one looks great. I would like to very much play this game. I'm going to have my eye on it. And it says it's coming in 2020, but we'll see if that turns out to be true. Did you like the look of this one?
I mean, it's an interesting design. Obviously, I'd like to hear more about the story and that kind of thing. Gameplay definitely reminds me of like the old like Alien Nation and those kind of games, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, could be interesting. It doesn't look like a snail.
You don't really look like a snail?
Give me like a proper look at Clid. It's all from like a really far away, so you can't see the design properly. But yeah.
If you look, he's very clearly a snail standing on his hind legs. What do you call a snail standing?
Like, I don't know. Yeah,
but you can see he has his shell on his back.
Yeah.
But he is somehow standing, and also he moves very fast for someone who's
a snail. Yes,
a snail standing on his legs. Whatever you want to call it.
I think it's an Earthworm Jim situation where he's got like mechanical legs or something and arms.
It could be true. The YouTube description on actual YouTube is better than the one there. So let's read that because that's the best one. Clid the Snail is a double stick shooter about a grumpy snail armed to the teeth who ends up joining a gang of outcasts formed by a shy hedgehog, a shaman turtle, a mute bat, a ninja frog, and a one-eyed chameleon. Alongside this strange group, Clid will discover new lands, fight hundreds of bugs and monsters in a story about family, trust, and tension. That's just like some epic shit, you know what I'm saying? And it has an awesome logo that looks like sort of old school Final Fantasy. If you go find the trailer, you can watch all the trailers, of course, by either googling the game title or there'll be a link to this PlayStation Lifestyle article, of course, in the show notes. So the next game was Corbin: A Colorful Adventure, a 3D shooter and puzzle platformer where the player has to help Corbin in becoming the new champion using his color-related abilities to win the rest of contenders. It looked like some sort of old school platforming PS2 game. Didn't do anything super exciting to grab me. I'm sorry, Corbin. You are no Clid, that is for sure.
It looks like it could have been made in dreams.
That is, yeah. I mean, that's a funny way we can describe games now. Like, but also they made that fucking Unreal 5 thing in dreams, so you know. What is it could look like in dreams? It looks like everything can be made in dreams, apparently. Who knows?
Yeah, but it
it looks like the majority of games you find inside dreams is what it looks like.
Kind of, yes.
Yes. The next game was Do Not Open. Do Not Open as a VR survival horror game. Do Not Open as a VR survival horror game inspired by the mechanics and experience of escape rooms. Its story involves within the confines of a room that will bring the player's mental and physical condition to the limit. The main character wakes up in their own house to a sudden realization that something has changed. The house is locked up and it keeps changing as the game progresses. So it's not the first VR game to be based around or inspired by escape rooms. That's kind of becoming a thing. I think VR games inspired by escape rooms is a fine way to kind of make games because it works given the headset and everything, and you can kind of design these intricate puzzles and whatnot. It looked cool. Nothing super exciting, but it definitely looked like, you know, if there was nothing else and you're a super VR person and you want to play a horror game, you want to escape room, you want to solve some puzzles, do all these sorts of things. Yeah, it looked all right. Next one was Inner Ashes. Inner Ashes is a story-driven adventure where players become Henry, a forester affected by Alzheimer's who has taken a soul-searching journey to his own mind in order to discover the secrets of his past. So I didn't really fully understand what was happening in this trailer, although the art style and everything is quite pretty, so I'm down to play it. It also has a variety of art styles because several times throughout the trailer, like it looks like a first-person walking, quote-unquote, walking sim or whatever the fuck people call it.
Puzzler.
Yeah, that sort of thing. But and the game changes several times where it's like, oh, hey, here's a puzzle that looks like it's from The Witness. Here's this area where there's a bunch of pink trees. Here's like a black and white section. Now we're on the beach. Now it looks like it's fucking Firewatch. You know, like it had a lot of variety, weirdly, to it. Definitely looks like it could be, I mean, given the subject matter, potentially quite a interesting story that I haven't seen done in a game before, personally. So I'm keen to have my eyes open on that one. Did you?
Looks fine.
Looks fine.
It looks pretty, but yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not really grabbing me.
The pretties doesn't do it, Fash. Everyone. He needs something more than just a pretty face. I need. Oh my goodness. The next one was called Tadaki Smash. Katsu is the owner of the best restaurant in the city. However, the Yakuza is determined to end his business, and for this, he throws a curse on all the food, transforming it into terrible demons. Only Katsu and his friends can stop them. This is a side-scrolling beat-em-up game where you are beating up food and people, other things. Well, I mean, I think it's like 2.5 side-scrolling, I guess. Anyway, It's got like co-op and everything. Not super interesting. The character models look weird to me. They look like they could be made in dreams. That's the going. Let's make that as the going thing. So that's that one. Next one, Lethal Honor Essence. Lethal Honor is based on a strategic and precise hand-to-hand combat system against eldritch creatures with a wide variety of skills. The players fight as an agent of Lethal Honor, an organization devoted to finding and stopping paranormal events and creatures all across the world. So this is a weird one because I'm like, is this cool or is this low quality not cool? And I can't figure out if it's like, I would have to play it, I feel, because it's like a if you're watching the combat, it reminded me, I guess, of something like a mix of like Transistor and like a real-time strategy game, I guess, something along those lines.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah, but like the art design is, how would you describe it? Yeah. So then it adds this in the battle. I don't know. I'm like, does this look cheap and weird, or is this just a design choice? And when I'm actually playing it, and I'm used to the design of it all and whatever else, I would be having a lot more fun. But I can't decide how I feel fully about it based solely off the trailer. I'm intrigued though. Some of the monster designs look cool and whatever, and the combat could be cool if it's fun to play this strategic sort of, because that's what it seems to be, like sort of a transistor-ish strategic battle system, I guess. Not really sure. Yeah. Do you have any other on that one, or?
No, yeah, it just looks interesting. It looks different to everything else in this, obviously. Yeah. It's got a cool story and fun combat. It could be a nice small game to get into.
Yeah. Next one was Operation High Jump. Operation High Jump is a 2D run and gun, an action game with some tactical and adventure elements based in the mysterious legends of World War II, a game that will surely appeal to nostalgic gamers. That is a weird description. I don't really care too much for this. Also, the fact that it's a 2D run and gun game, an action game with some tactical and adventure elements. There's a bit of everything there for you. You know, get excited. Yep. Everyone got fucking everything happening for you. The nostalgias of World War II. Gamers will love that. That's weird. I don't care for this personally.
There's no gameplay in the trailer. Yeah. Looks like it's still on Kickstarter. I don't think it's not going to be on our radar. I don't think anytime soon.
No, not when it's cleared anyway. So next game is Summer in Mara. Summer in Mara is a single-player experience in a calm, relaxing environment with a handmade look and exciting narrative. You will be Ko, I guess it is, right? Yeah, Ko. Yeah.
Koa?
Ko? Is it Koa or Ko? Like, sometimes...
Whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. Little adventure girl who has to explore the world and discover the secrets that the ocean keeps. This looked fun. I'm down for this. It's got a really cool art style. I don't really know.
Yeah.
It reminds me of old school platforming adventure games, I guess. Like it seems like you're literally just kind of going around the island, helping people, doing tasks. You know, it's not like a game of combat or anything. There's a scene where she appears to be helping some pigs out, you know, making sure they're getting fed. That seems exciting. At first I was like, oh, is this some sort of like, you know, like the 1,000,001 farming lifelike Sims or whatever we have. But no, it seems to be some sort of adventure game where you're just helping people out on the island, and the art style looks really vibrant. It's like very colorful, really unique. I think it stands out. I definitely have my eyes open. I think this is my second favorite from this. This is behind Clid for me. What do you think of this?
Yeah, it looks very pretty. Interesting concept, I guess. Just like a world. Just live your life on the island, do different little adventures and that kind of thing. Yeah, it could be interesting.
The next one was The Five Covens, paying homage to the classic 3D adventure games of the first generations of consoles, but with an art style and gameplay aligned with current standards. This game, set in witchcraft folklore, offers an adventure where players will have to escape from a castle by overcoming all of its dungeons. Dun, dun, dun. I could play this, but it's not something that I'm super getting excited about because I feel like it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look great either. You know, like they're like, oh, it's like an old school classic 3D adventure game, which I can be like, yeah, that's cool. I'd love to play, you know, one of those every now and then to kind of fill my nostalgia beans. Then also they try and say it's up to current standards, and I'll say that although graphically, yeah, it does look more, especially from like a lighting point of view, I guess. The character models, meh, but like lighting and these sorts of things stand out. Definitely it looks better than stuff we would have had back in the day. However, from a gameplay perspective, it still just looks like it's straightforward, very simple, not really doing anything to change up the formula. Not to say that that's bad or good, I don't know, but I mean, I don't dislike it, but I wasn't blown away, you know. The character model is also just weird. Like, she doesn't appear to have eyes. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that's a witch thing or
probably is. Yeah.
What the problem is with there, you know.
Just got eyebrows.
Yeah, just eyebrows. It's weird. I don't know if the game's unfinished. They're like, we'll do the eyes last. That's what we do last here at our development team. We do the eyes last always.
It's what we're known for.
Yeah, maybe.
Eyes are unlockable.
Yeah, DLC. Sure, go for it. The next one was The Library of Babel. Is a dark adventure of platforms. That's the description. The Library of Babel is a dark adventure of platforms. Fuck, I love it. Stealth and investigation set in a futuristic world. In this adventure, players take control of Ludikiv? Sure. A robotic entity sent to gather data about the human race extinct for centuries. So it's Horizon Zero Dawn spin-off sequel or some shit. This actually looks alright. I don't fully understand the game. Like, it seems like a weird mix of different styles of gameplay. If you watch the trailer, it's like some puzzles, some platforming stuff, whatnot, have you. But from an art point of view, presentation point of view, it seems very cool. It's like a black and white thing for the most part, and then its uses of color is very minimal, which makes it stand out whenever there's a part in the trailer where there is color, and even in the scenes where there's not really color, it looks like a full-on black and white game. You'll just kind of get this subtle blue coming from the background of the sky or the moon or something like that, and then there's a part where they enter a town and it's you've got all these lights, and that looks really cool. So it does seem like a hand-painted sort of Master Chief, I guess, but I could be down. I'm just not fully sold on what I was watching from the actual gameplay moment to moment. What about you?
I mean, it looks fine. It looks like a dark Metroidvania or something like that. Yeah, could be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if you know, it's a dark adventure of platforms.
Yeah, it's pretty close. But like, even art style-wise, it kind of looks like a Metroidvania. Or like Super Metroid and that kind of thing, except obviously more black and white. And
yeah, more black and white.
Not aliens.
Yeah, not aliens that we know of, I guess. That we know of. And the last one was the game titled Walls of Lies. This 2.5D game brings together such different genres as Metroidvania, brawlers, and some touches of roguelike. From 1 to 4 players have to pick a character, each with its own story, and try to get out of a dungeon alive. Various enemies populate every level, among them other players. Once they find the exit, players will fight between themselves in epic arenas full of platforms and traps. I didn't care for this personally.
No.
It didn't look fun. I didn't really understand what's happening in the trailer for the most part. Reading the description didn't really make me understand what the fuck was going on for the most part. I think maybe they're onto a cool idea, I guess. You know, like a roguelike where you can sometimes run into other players in different rooms and then have to fight them. I guess like in concept
maybe
that's
it's
cool.
That you dungeon crawl through a dungeon and then you have like a 5-minute battle, like with your stuff you've gathered along the way, or something. I don't know. Yeah,
it's weird. They're like everything's odd. A lie.
It kind of looks very slow, floaty.
Yeah. They're like all the videos like, oh, this is December 2019 prototype video. I'm like, okay, but still, like you're not really selling me on the gameplay here, guys. So. Anyway, this just to kind of recap, the ones that you should keep your ears and eyes open to, everyone, are of course Clid the Snail, Inner Ashes, Lethal Honor Essence, Summer of Mara. You agree?
Yep.
Those ones are probably the takeaways.
Yes.
From this list of Spanish games. Cool. Good job, Spaniels.
PSVR for the players.
All right, so VR time, PSVR. Strap on your headsets, everyone. Sit down and get ready to enter a world of virtual reality. So, firstly, I've been playing GORN. I think I'll have a review up by the time this is up. If not, I'll be posting shortly after or something like that. GORN is a very simplistic arena fighter in which you fight combatants with a variety of weapons. However, it's very gory and it's very violent. However, the art style is super cartoonish, so they try and mix it down so it's not super like gruesome or whatever. But like people's eyes will pop out of their heads. You can pretty much cleave people's body parts off. But then the enemies are also just super cartoony and weird, and they kind of just wobble along towards you. And they'll sometimes even just fall over and hit the other friends in the thing when they're coming for you. And if you chop off one of their limbs, they'll kind of just still hobble towards you and get up and be like, "It's just a flashpoint." And well, they don't say that, but it's basically what they're saying anyway. It's, I guess, fun in short bursts. There's no story. You kind of just go through these levels. You fight enemies using different weapons in each level, and then every time you complete the levels, you then unlock those weapons for the customizable arena mode, where you can use any weapons you've unlocked. You can make yourself a giant. It lets you modify and change things. So I guess the be-all, end-all is to play through the quote-unquote story, so then you can just go have heaps of fun using whatever weapons you want downstairs, which I'm not really going to be down for, because I would never like put on my VR headset solely to play a game like this. It does give you a little bit of a workout, however, because the game uses the movement system where you pull yourself through the world, which other games have done before. But this one, you're in like a ballerina, and sometimes, like if I had like a club, for instance, I've hit an enemy and they've gone flying halfway across the freaking arena, and then they've been knocked unconscious. So I want to run to get to them to finish them off before they have a chance to get back up and kill me. So you have to rotate left, right with the move controllers and like literally pull yourself through the world. So doing that for a bunch eventually, and then also swinging around both your arms like a maniac as you're like clubbing people to death and slicing their heads off and whatever else. By the time I was done playing this game for my first session, I was like, my arms are feeling a bit tired. So That was that. My one big negative, and I will say it is a big negative because it has been killing my fun consistently with this game. And if they change this, it would make the game so much better. But this game came out ages ago on PSVR, so they're definitely not going to change it, and it's a big hang up. But for whatever reason, if you get hit once, and I mean, even if you accidentally like tap the blunt end of an enemy's weapon against your body somehow, you just start bleeding out to the point that if you don't kill an enemy, you will die. So it doesn't matter how you get hit. They could hit you directly across the head with an axe. You will then just start bleeding out, and you have, I think it's like 5 to 10-ish seconds, probably around there, that you have to find and quickly kill an enemy so you will survive. But the amount of times I've been doing something and then I've even accidentally just had, as I said, a blunt end of an enemy's enemy touch me on my fucking ankle or something like that, and next second the screen's like going all bled and I'm like bleeding out. I'm like, how the fuck am I dying? And you just get so many frustrating deaths, and it's even more weird because all of the enemies in this game take so many hits to die. Like, you knock them out, you go stand over their unconscious body, you absolutely pummel the living crap out of their body until their head pops off, and then they're finally dead. But for some reason, you, as a player, only need one tiny little thing hit to die. But every other enemy in the game takes a million hits. Like, that's annoying. I don't really understand why that was a decision that was made. It's like you're constantly playing the game on the hardest difficulty just for the sake of pissing people off, and it's quite odd considering the whole game seems to have designed around the like, let's just have fun, this game's silly, let's all just have a great time, but also let's make sure to fucking piss off people no matter what, because we'll just make sure they can die and have to replay, and let's just try and extend the playtime of the game by making frustrating deaths happen consistently. So I don't know what I'm giving it. Go find my GORN review on the website, explosionhawk.com, of course. Be up by now, if not shortly after. Ash, you put on your VR headset. You played the Iron Man VR demo.
Yes, I played the Iron Man VR demo. Do you want to explain why you didn't play the Iron Man VR demo?
Well, I can quickly explain. So I will need to move my VR headset setup out of this room into a different room because for whatever reason, everyone, Iron Man VR is the first game that I'm literally unable to play in my bedroom because I don't have enough space for it. Because when you boot it up, it's like stand in this circle area to begin the game. And that circle area was outside my window behind me. Like, I do not have the amount of space to go stand in the circle it requires. So I will need to move this out. I will probably just do it ASAP so it's out of the way and it's done and dusted, but then at least I'll know that I'll be able to play the goddamn game when it full releases in nearly a month and a half time, or whatever it is. Yeah. So that's my story.
So it's good that they gave the demo out so you know that you need to move.
So I didn't find this out right as I go to boot up the proper game. Yeah.
Yes. The only reason I suspect that's the case is obviously you need your full arm spans. Well, you could technically use your full arm span, and it needs the camera to be in a position where it could get your full scope of arm movements. But yeah, it's fun. Obviously, you start off, you play the mission we played at PAX, the training mission of going around over at Malibu, doing like a training sim. Much easier now that I know that in the demo it explains you push the buttons and you can turn. That's helpful.
I added it because of you.
Yeah, purely because of me and nobody else. Still kind of tricky to move her around. I'm sure you can once you get some more practice in. I think the training mission I finished in like they have like the race thing, time trial thing. I finished in like 1:30. The camouflage time was like 39 seconds, which seems ridiculous, but that's cool. And then you play pretty much the mission of you've seen in the trailer of the plane getting attacked. Definitely feels a little on railsy. There is like obviously feels kind of like a Star Fox mission, I guess. Like you've got a set area in which you're moving around the plane. You've got to maneuver yourself to like help fix the plane, like cool down the engine, and then open the landing gear, and then ward off all the enemies, just shooting them off and that kind of thing. Yeah, it's fun. I think it's a bit. I think the maneuverability is going to take a little while to get used to. I don't think there's like set speed amounts and that kind of thing, so you don't know how quickly you're moving towards things, or there's no clear way to slow down. Like you've got to get up to a certain point next to the plane or under the plane to be able to cool down the engine or whatever. And I constantly was overshooting it, that kind of thing. But yeah,
go watch the movies. You'll figure out how to stop. You put your hands out in front of you.
Yeah, but this is against a moving plane. The plane's still moving. So yeah, I know.
You're just saying you're shit Iron Man.
Yeah, that's probably true. Also, I couldn't get the hang of like dodging. Like I was so focused on trying to shoot these things that the lasers kept hitting me in the face instead of because I was forgetting to dodge all the time. So yeah, I think playing it more, I'll get used to that kind of thing and have a bit more fun. There's also like an advanced combat thing and an advanced flight thing. I just assumed those were like checkpoints within the mission, but apparently they're separate things.
Oh, like
so there's more like I assume training things or like shoot up enemies or whatever bits. So there's a bit more to try out. So yeah, I did get a little bit queasy playing around it. Obviously, moving in ways that you wouldn't normally move, but yeah, probably don't play it on a full stomach if you're not used to VR. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. The storytelling bits were interesting. It sets up there's not a lot of story in this demo, but it just sets up the world enough that Tony's pretty much wants to stop being in charge of Stark Industries and is wanting to be Iron Man all the time, pretty much, Oh. And then Ghost shows up and wreck shop takes over the plane. Yeah. And there's cool moments, like he jumps out of the plane without the suit on and like he's falling down. And then the suit comes up and gauntlets, the bits you've seen in the movies, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. So I'm excited for it to come out July, whenever it is.
Something in July. I've already forgot, to be honest, but yeah. In case you don't have PlayStation VR, we made that whole comment the other week about how, they're trying to they should have a deal to try and get more people to buy Iron Man. Yeah, they've got one. So it comes out the 7th of the 3rd, by the way, now that I'm looking at this thing. But you'll be able to buy a PlayStation VR headset with the Iron Mans. No. Just two move controllers. Two move controllers and the game. No headset. Yes. But no two move controllers in the game. Yeah.
But if you've gotten a headset and you've just been using your controller, now's the time to get the move controllers.
Yeah, or your move controllers got destroyed, or their batteries are kind of going to shit. I feel like my batteries are going to shit mine, but I'm definitely not going to upgrade them because
hopefully
they're just bringing out new controllers, so that seems absolutely pointless. But yeah, I feel like every time I charge mine, they only last a couple hours or something.
I mean, only thing is, I'm disappointed they didn't give them a paint job in this bundle.
To make them look like what? Red.
They could have just red. Yeah. One red, one yellow, or gold.
It'd be weird if they did that because I've never done any sort of exclusive move like paint jobs or
why not? Now's the time.
Yeah, now is the time. I guess if any at the end of a life cycle,
we'll get the fancy.
Yeah, that's probably the best time. You're probably right. You're probably very, very true.
How expensive is it to give it a little bit of paint? Give it that Ferrari red.
Ferrari red.
That's from the movies, I think.
Okay. I don't know.
No, Hot Rod Red.
Hot Rod Red? I don't know. You're telling the story.
From the first Iron Man movie.
I haven't watched it for ages.
Yeah, it's been a while. Maybe we should rewatch that for something.
Maybe we should. So on the sixaxis.com, they write, Media Molecule is looking for testers for PSVR version of Dreams. Media Molecule has begun its search for testers to help redefine refined the PSVR version of its game Dreams. The developers stated that for now the test would be limited to players in Europe and that there would be limited spaces. In addition, anyone who is successful in signing up will have to sign a non-disclosure agreement barring them from talking about any of the features they may be testing. The test itself will be in 3 phases, and at the end of the test, testers will be paid £200. I think that's pounds, right? The E is euros, pounds. I don't know. Incentive bonus. The 3 phases are as follows. Phase 1, 1 hour introductory session via video call on Tuesday 2nd or Wednesday 3rd of June 2020. Phase 2, 2-week diary study from Wednesday 3rd to Wednesday the 17th of June, during which time you would be required to provide short reports every 1 to 2 days on your experience of playing the game. And then phase 3, Thanos, final interview on Wednesday 17th, Thursday 18th, or Friday the 19th of June, lasting 1 hour via video call. The final incentive payment will be processed at this point. What a in-depth... like... I feel like the money seems low for the amount of potential work you're doing there, right?
Yeah.
It's nearly a month of testing, and you need to update your diary every 1 to 2 days on the experience of playing the game over a 2-week period. So every 1 to 2 days. So you're going to be playing it at least every 1 to 2 days to update the diary of how you're going with it. £200? That seems low, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem a bit not great. Like they're not.
I don't know what testers. I don't know what testers get paid.
Not
usually,
pressed.
though, so.
Yeah, it's not proper testing. I don't think it's like more in-depth beta testing.
Yeah, it's weird. I've never actually seen something like this before. Like, not in a like public knowledge anyway that I know about. But I guess it's cool to know that the VR version's in the phase of testing, like closed public testing, however you want to word it, to the point that they're putting out calls for people to help test the game. I guess maybe if COVID-19 wasn't a thing, they would have gone about this potentially differently. You know? Now they're like, I guess you have to have your own VR headset. We'll give you a code or something, or like a account to sign into. Would probably be the more likely thing, I guess. Here's an account you can sign into to play the PSVR version of Dreams. You already probably have to own a PSVR headset because they're probably not going to send you one because that'd be ridiculous. And then I guess they delete the account off you when you're done. I don't know. I was trying to work it all out. Because I suppose in a non-COVID-19 world, they just pay a bunch of people to come in and test like you normally would, right? In the...
Yeah.
Like a studio space somewhere, a PlayStation headquarters in wherever they are in Europe or something along those lines, you know? I feel like that's probably what would happen, but this is what they're doing instead. Anyway, so Dreams BR PSVR version, I would say was coming. I would say it's definitely coming this year at this stage. If this is what they're doing now, unless all these people say it's super fucked, and they got a million and one problems with it, I would say we're getting an update for it this year. But also I wonder what they're testing. You know, like, do they just have a bunch of PSVR levels to test or that Media Molecule have made themselves? Or are they testing creating levels in PSVR?
I would say both.
Yeah, maybe both, but then the majority would surely be the creation side. Because it's not like Media Molecule would have made a shit ton of PSVR content, surely.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on which one is more important straight away. Like, is it more important that you can make your games in VR, or is it more important that you can play the games?
Well, you got to play them before you can make them. Make them before you can play them, I guess. So
that's true. Yeah,
you have to be.
I suspect it's a mixture of both. It'd have to be.
Yeah,
just to make sure that these games can function properly in VR.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, if you play it in PSVR, you know your homeroom thing in Dreams, your little home space. I really want to know if when you play that in VR, if it lets you just wander around your little home space in like a first person view.
No, it'll probably be more like Astrobot.
Oh, that would still be pretty cool, maybe cooler. I just feel like because I don't really care too much about customizing that, but if you could get in and have a look in VR, I feel like something maybe I'd care more. You could do some cool things. Yeah.
Be more invested.
Yeah, I might be more invested. Let's talk some trophies. So, I got the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Platinum. It is an easy Platinum. It is, I actually think, one of the easier Assassin's Creed Platinums, especially if you're looking at a guide to make sure you know which side missions you need to go about and what you need to do. But I think the one defining thing that makes this one a lot easier than a lot of previous Assassin's Creed games is you don't have to 100% any levels or missions or chapters, because that was always a thing in the Assassin's Creed of old, is that for each separate mission there would always often be optional objectives like kill this person by this certain way or finish it without alarming anyone and these sorts of things. And then you had to do those to get 100% synchronization across that chapter. You had to do that for all the missions and do that. In this game, you don't have to do any of that. And also in this game, there's no collectibles. You don't have to, there's nothing about finding all of the chests. There's no damn feathers to find. There's nothing like that. So it's pretty much just play the story, do the certain side quests that you need to do for the certain trophies. You don't need to do all the side quests. You don't even need to unlock all of the viewpoints, vantage points, and like the world map stuff. You don't even need to do that, which is quite weird, considering it's a Ubisoft game. So it's actually quite easy. It took me around 50-something hours, 55-ish hours, I think, to do it. Which, of course, is long, but not as long as many Platinums. But I'd say, overall, Assassin's Creed Odyssey Platinum is easy. It's an easy Platinum, and if you're looking to jump into it and go for it, and you've already started it, and you want to go back and get the Platinum, or you want to start the game before Valhalla later this year, I think that's a good idea, because it was a fun Platinum and an easy Platinum, which is also always going to be a double thumbs up in my book. Now, the other thing I need to talk about real quickly and annoyingly, so I reviewed Manhunter. You can go find the game. It's over at exposurenetwork.com. You can find the Maneater review over there. I had some problems with it. Some annoying little hiccups and bugs. And they're not all related to trophies, but the main one we're focusing right now is the one that is related to trophies. And that is the fact that I would have, as far as I could tell, been the third person in the world to platinum the game according to psnprofiles.com, but I had a collectible glitch. And I think having collectibles glitch, if you care about trophies, is the biggest shame and biggest crime in the world. And it hurts like nothing else could possibly hurt in the world. So I'm now stuck with this game at like, I think it's like 70-something%, because basically the trophy list. Now this game is an easy platinum, right? So if you want to keep your eye on it, and if they ever patch it, which apparently Tripwire have said they are working on patching this to make sure all these issues are gone. And if that ever happens, Maneater is indeed a very easy platinum that will take you probably between 8 to 10 hours. That's, I think, roughly to get the platinum. So it's not very long, and it's also pretty chill and very easy because it's mostly a collectathon. Like the main story, you do that, you unlock a bunch of trophies, nothing hard about it, and then everything else in the game is just finding these collectibles around the map. However, you can just sonar and it reveals question marks on the map, and the map isn't that big and they're easy to find. Most of the time it's just walking up to things, pressing square, activating it. Other times it's about doing some little shark jump out of the water to collect a sign that's above you in the air kind of thing. But they're all pretty easy. But so for each area in the map, in the world, there's a trophy assigned to it. You like unlock 100% of everything here, unlock 100% of everything here, and then of course there's separate trophies for unlock every type of this collectible, unlock every type of this collectible, and then there's a trophy for unlocked 100% of everything in the game. So because the one collectible glitched out on me in the last area that I was going to clear, in the last area of the game, it locked me out. So now I don't have the bronze for 100% in that area. It means I also don't have the gold for collecting every type of that collectible, which means I don't also have the gold for getting 100% everything in the game. It's annoying. I hope they patch it to the point that I can just go in and get that collectible, or they add an option in the menu for me to just force reset collectibles in that one area even. But if their one saving grace is that they patch it so that future players will be able to get the platinum, but it would require me to replay the entire game to get the platinum, doubt that's going to happen. And I'm sorry. Anyway, that'll do it for this week's episode of Platinum Explosion. Of course, you can follow us all on Twitter by heading to explosionnetwork.com/Twitter. You can suggest topics or send in questions or queries for the show by emailing mail@explosionnetwork.com with the subject line Platinum Explosion. And until next week, remember that every trophy counts. Hey, don't forget you can subscribe to the show wherever you're currently listening, and you can drop a review if you can. Find more great shows like this and more content over at explosionnetwork.com, and please consider supporting us for as little as $1 over on our Ko-fi page by heading to explosionnetwork.com/support. Thanks for listening.